to This Endorian Life, a Star Wars podcast from the Radio Meanwhile Network. My name is Steve Rudd.
I'm Nick Gunning, and we're following the Ewoks from Return of the Jedi to the Ewok TV movies, the 80s cartoon, and beyond. Before we dive in today, Steve, I have to start with a special thanks. Because you're aware of this because I was texting you back and forth about it, but the Skywalker Saga, the Lego game, came out. And it was killing me trying to decide, do I want to get it on big on the TV, or do I want to just have it for my Switch Lite? And so we put up a Twitter poll on This Endorian Life on the Twitter page, got lots of responses, but I ultimately sided with Steve and got it for the Switch Lite.
Yep. Yeah.
It was the right move. It was the right move.
After I suggested it to you because of, it's a Legos game.
I know.
Lego game. You gotta get it on the Switch. I looked at all kinds of stuff from it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I might actually get this
right?
game.
I know.
It's so good.
I know.
So good.
It's fun. I'm not far in it at all, but you can choose which trilogy you want to start with. So I just started chronologically and went with the prequels, but I will keep you updated, especially when I get to the Ewok zones, so we can talk about it.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be so much fun. Yeah,
yes.
I saw some the ragdoll effects are so good that if you shoot a stormtrooper in the head, his helmet spins around, or if you shoot him in the foot, he'll drop his gun and hop on one foot holding his other.
It does feel different from other, it feels more advanced from other Lego games, but it's still
more advanced.
In some ways, it feels a little old school as well, because recent Lego games, the cutscenes have just become so long and so tedious, and you can't skip them, but the cutscenes here so far are a good length, and I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time with it, and I do appreciate everybody weighing in on what option I should go with. So yes, anyway, but Steve, what's on the docket for today?
Oh man, today we are discussing the all-new. We have to that should be in quotes. All-new
right.
Ewoks Episode 2A. Home is Where the Shrieks Are, which originally aired September 20th, 1986.
Now, I know how you feel about this, because as soon as this call connected, you just dropped it on me. So hold it. I don't... No, save it. I got to tell you about the cast and crew. Today's episode was once again written by Bob Carew and directed by Dale Schott. Of course, amazing theme song by Patrick Gleason, which I know has been running through your mind all day, Steve.
I cannot get it out of my head.
I know.
That's torture.
I know. This was included on the VHS compilation Ewoks 5 Wicket's Adventures. This is the first appearance of Larry the Shriek, we'll call him. But Steve, I got good news for you. He's coming back, baby. We're gonna see Larry again.
Oh, great.
But a featured cast member, I do have a fun fact for you here. James Crana, who assumes the role of Tebow, he takes over for Eric Peterson from season 1. Crana has this history of being George Lucas adjacent. He voiced an announcer in THS 1138. He played a thief in American Graffiti. But the most interesting thing, he voiced Whittle Warwick in Caravan of Courage.
No way.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound anything like it.
No.
It's so annoying.
It is annoying. I know. And he's not voicing Whittle. It would have been cool if he was voicing Whittle, but it's still, this is the first time, really. Other than Bob Carew himself, this is the most notable crossover there between the movies and the cartoon. So,
I suppose we can't really blame it on the readers, because it's the way they modulate their voice.
I blame them a little bit. I'm not Danny Delk.
I tried.
No, Danny. I don't.
Yeah.
Danny Delk is just not doing it for me as Wicket.
No,
but you're right.
You're
right. Though the modulation does make it way worse.
Yeah. They just do. It's so strange, the turn that they made. I was thinking about all the different scenarios in my head, why they chose a different cast, and I feel we go through and we look at the cast of everyone in the first season, and they're all not all, but a lot of them are still going.
Oh yeah,
right. And so I thought, well, maybe that's one of the scenarios where they were the producers kind of came to them and said, well, we have this much money for a show this year.
Could be.
And was and they were well, we're not going to.
Yeah.
I could see Bob Carew and Dale Schott going, I'm not going to take a pay cut, so we're just going to hire an old new cast.
I guess.
And it's you got to get rid of Cree Summer. I'm sure she wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
She's done so much, but it's just like,
yeah, but
I don't know. I thought that was a scenario.
maybe,
possible.
and you're probably right. But I mean, it's worth noting too. A lot of the voice actors, even though they went on to be prolific voice actors, Ewoks was kind of their first thing. So maybe that's not even
true.
it.
Yeah,
maybe that's not it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Whatever it is, it's a weird choice. But
whatever it is, it was wrong.
yeah.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
I'm looking at the doc, Steve, here, and this is the shortest plot you've ever given us. Shorter than the story of the faithful Wookiee. It's the shorter than the Legos Halloween special. This is tiny, so I can't wait to hear it. Let me hear it.
All right. I almost read my name.
You don't have to say that. That's just for us, really, so we know who says what.
Okay, all right. I won't say that. Just edit that.
Yeah, just cut that. Just snip it.
Cut it. Yeah. Okay, this is the uber detailed plot of Home is Where the Shrieks Are, Season 2, Episode 2A.
Yep.
Wicket is reluctant to do his house chores his mother has made him to do. After seeing all the other warriors from the village outside practicing with their weapons, Wicket decides he's going to go and live on his own and won't return, not even for 1,000,000 munyips.
Wow.
On his way, Tebow joins his quest, and they both set up camp in a rickety old hut atop a creaky-looking tree. Unknown to the Ewoks, the tree already has a shifty inhabitant. That day, the two Ewoks work to make the hut look nicer, but just end up fighting. Latara and Nisa stop by, and the two boys refuse any help from them, especially their food. Wicket has made his own unintended burnt stew, that is. The girls remind the boys of the harvest festival in the village, but the boys plan to have their own. Unfortunately, with their dinner already ruined, Wicket asks Tebow to go find some food. Instead of food, Tebow finds some friends and brings them back to the hut to play games. Tebow's friends run off scared when they find out that Wicket and Tebow didn't get permission from the Shriek that inhabits the tree prior to them moving in. Later, the two Ewoks are scared by the Shriek, who frightens them in the dark. The two Ewoks set out to find the Shriek and finally do so when Wicket uses Tebow's magic dust to cause the Shriek to sneeze when he uses his voice roots, which carries his voice creepily through the tree. They find out the Shriek's name is actually Larry, and he too ran away when he was young, not intending to return, not even for 1,000,000 munyips. But when he eventually did go back home, everyone had left, so now he's all alone. That causes Wicket to regret his decision to leave his home. He and Tebow and Larry all head back to the village to enjoy the celebration and food at the Harvest Festival. Wicket is glad to be back, and Larry is glad for the delicious spread. Roll credits.
There it is. So let's just get it right out here, Steve. Let's start with the Yub Nubs, okay? We forgot to do this last time, so let's just rate it, because I know you want to get it out there. How many Yub Nubs do you give this one?
I'm going to give this one a 1.
1.
This was so bad. No one was in character. Everyone... Okay,
that's definitely true.
Everyone was fighting.
Yeah.
We have this thing that, Wicket is supposed to be... The very first episode is you're going to become a warrior, and you're going to have to earn it. He has done nothing but not earn it.
True.
Right?
True.
Every episode so far. And this one, it's just he thinks he can go out and do it on his own. Well, he can't become a warrior if he's just living by himself, because he's got to be deemed a warrior by the village.
Right.
He doesn't want to do his chores, but then ends up going and then doing those chores just in his own... I mean, it's I guess a typical teenager thing, but just nothing was characteristic. This episode felt like... This episode and the episode before it, the difference felt like Season 7 and Season 8 of Game of Thrones. Right? Where all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, what's happening? Why is he doing that? Why is he complaining? Why is this happening? Why,
I will agree with you that it really... Even though the transition from Season 1 to Season 2... was a pretty shocking change. This episode is a completely different tone, even from the episodes that we've done in the last couple of weeks. It is
and
really...
the symbol slapstick has got to
yes,
stop.
Slapstick.
That really bugged me.
Yep.
I was like, it was too silly.
Yep.
This one just made me frustrated the whole time.
I get it, but I was more forgiving of this episode. After last time with Crystal, we're just looking at this nonsense. I was really before I watched it, I watched this one with my son. I'm like, It's just a dumb, goofy cartoon. It's just a dumb, goofy cartoon.
Yeah.
And like with that mantra in my head, I was kind of okay with it, honestly. Like, you're absolutely right. Everything you said is right. They're not in character. It feels somehow even less Star Warsy than the other episodes have.
Yeah.
I mean, Larry is such like an anachronistic kind of character here, but his whole like, I'm Larry, how you doing? What's up? You know.
Yeah, I've been here all my life. Right?
Just,
yeah. Stop bear.
I don't.
You know, it's like.
I look. When Larry was like, I'm Larry, I laughed out loud. I'm gonna cop to it. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was enjoyable. I'm gonna give this one 3 yub nubs. How about that?
Whoa, that is uber generous.
3 yub nubs based on the new scale we're setting in season 2. Because here's why, okay? Because
are we grading on a scale?
Yes, because Wicket did have like one Wickety moment, and I don't want to give it up because that's my Ichiwawa moment, so I'm going to hold off on that. But Wicket did have that. I thought that Larry was funny. Everything kind of tied back in together. You know, I thought for a minute that they were just going to leave Larry in the woods, and that would have made me sad. But there's Larry just
I thought they were too.
Yeah, but there's Larry just like yucking it up with the other Ewoks, and I thought that was funny. So like, it all kind of came full circle. You know, it was like a self-contained little plot. And I genuinely was amused by Larry. So,
yeah,
you know, I was okay with it.
I did like the fact, you know, once he got found out, he was just kind of like, oh, okay, all right, I'm just going to go back to
That was it. That was it. He folded like a card table. It was nothing.
Like the Wizard of Oz. Like,
it was.
No, don't go in there.
Yeah.
All right, you found me. Okay, all right,
yeah.
I'm just going to...
You know, it's actually a pretty clever setup that old Larry has. He's like in this old hollowed out tree, and he's in a spot where if he talks, it echoes through all the old hollow branches, sounding like a bunch of shrieks. And I'm like, clever.
Yeah.
Good for you, Larry. I think that's clever.
I think, and this, you know how I feel like I always find one thing that, like, if they had just done this, it would have made the whole episode better, right? What if the resolution, like, I know they're like, oh, Larry, come back into our village, right? But it doesn't really solve his living situation, right? What if what solved it was Wicket and Tebow actually living there? And
I agree.
Wicket, Tebow, and Larry living in harmony in that tree.
Yeah.
Would have been like, that's much better, but I mean, then you'd have to explain the next episode why all of a sudden they're at home again, you know? So,
no, I thought the same thing too. I was kind of hoping, like, because I hated all the like Wicket do your chores crap. It just felt like so bizarre.
It makes him feel it seemed like he was I'd say 15 to 16-year-old. Now he feels like he's 11.
True.
Like in maturity, where he's just like everything.
I know. I was thinking about this too. In all the like years of watching Return of the Jedi, I never saw Wicket or the Ewoks and thought, oh, they're children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
never.
Yep.
Never did I think they were children. You know, I always thought these are fully grown Ewoks, you know, which I think, based on Return of the Jedi, that's what they're meant to be. I mean, the movies make them seem a little bit younger. Like Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor do make them seem a little bit younger. But they're just getting progressively, they're like the Muppet Babies by this point, you know?
Yeah, they're like Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just like, what's going on? Like, what? I don't
So,
know. It's just that seems silly.
I don't know. You know, like I said, I watched this with my son, and before that, he and I had been playing with. I have a little remote control Dio. You can control him with my phone.
Oh yeah, Dio. Yeah.
And so he was in the mood for that. We watched Ewoks, and afterwards, he was like, "Dad, could we watch something Star Wars?" And like he wasn't even. And I was like, "Well, we just watched Ewoks," and he was like, "Oh, right." And he was like, "No, I meant something like, you know, like good
Star Wars."
Yeah, but he wasn't even like. He wasn't throwing shade. I mean, he was, but not intentionally. He really just watched that and was like, this was a fun, cute cartoon, but I'm really in the Star Wars mood. And I thought, like, yep, there's the problem. You've just pointed out the problem.
Yeah.
Well, I think what Crystal said last time about just sort of picturing, they're going to be, like, chasing around stormtroopers or getting in the New Republic's way. Yeah. Like, there's going to be something based on what happened in Return of the Jedi. And what a weird pivot to not do that.
They must have like just gotten handed everything, and their contract was like 2 pages of like, you can call it Ewoks
maybe
and be on Endor, but you can't have any Star Wars things in it besides that.
Well, it's
and
funny,
then, like the challenge of like what, like
Well, when you think about, like, back when we did the Christmas special, we watched the Star Wars Holiday Special. That was just such a catastrophic disaster, and that was like, never again are we going to do this kind of thing. This episode felt more like Lumpy and Nala, like, hanging around the house. Like, it was much closer to the Star Wars Holiday Special than it is to Return of the Jedi. And I just think, what a weird thing to do, to not go Star Wars with it and go, like, let's make it weird and domestic.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Let's make it about his chore. I mean, it wasn't even like a moral lesson about the chores. It was just don't run away.
I guess I thought what they were trying to do, and maybe not so well, was all the stuff about not being able to clean up the house, and they keep breaking things, and they can't make food, and they don't have anything. I thought that they were going for kind of a the grass is always greener kind of thing, and that Larry was there.
That makes sense.
Larry was there to really just, like, put a pin in it and be like, by the way, I was you once.
Yeah.
Let's talk good for a minute. Let's look at the good for a moment.
Yeah.
What's your Ichiwawa moment?
So I have to admit, it is Larry. Everything about Larry. I love how we thought it was either a three-eyed creature.
Yeah.
Or, like, I thought there was three creatures at first. And then I was like, well, I wonder if it's a three-eyed creature. But, like, there was that suspense of, like, what is it? And then it is a three-eyed creature, but just not what I was expecting.
Right.
And just, I don't know. He was just funny when he goes, Larry. I had to rewind it. I was like, did he say Larry? Like, Larry. And I was like, wait, like, but then here's the thing. You know what? The stuff that goes through my head when I'm watching this stuff was like, oh, I feel like we shouldn't be so surprised by Larry because we have Luke.
Right.
Ben.
Yeah.
Like we have these, like, normal names.
Yeah.
And then we have Han, Leia. Like, you start to get out there. You start getting out there quick with names, but, like, like Luke.
Why not?
No one's just like, dude's name Luke. That dude's name is Bleeple Blop over there.
Right.
His name is Luke.
Yeah.
So Larry is like,
it's not any different than, Uncle Owen or anything like Uncle that. Owen. It's just, regular old name.
And then Aunt Beru. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, Larry was funny. And the thing is, like, I'm not even kidding. I really did find him to be funny. And it made me think of when they've tried to go for, like, outlandish and funny before, like with the Jindas, for example, and it's just, like, nails on a chalkboard.
Yes.
But Larry, I agree. I agree with you. My Ichiwawa moment was the only moment where I felt like Wicket acted like Wicket. Yeah. When the big scare happens and Wicket's like, we're going to go investigate. And he, like, drags Tebow along and they're, like, climbing through, the tunnel and the trees and stuff. Mm-hmm. I was like, there you go. There's a bold, brave little Wicket. There's Wicket the warrior. So I was just happy to see that because I felt like we're watching the Flintstones or something, Fred, do the dishes.
Yeah.
So that was mine. Okavark? What's your so hard to choose, but
it's just I don't even know. The whole episode to me was, what really bothered me too? I didn't realize how different Wicket's mother's voice was too. Like, I thought that was very awkwardly done. Like, no one gave her the context of the scene, so she just read her lines like she was, like, reading off, like, a credit card number to somebody. It was just very bland, very, while everyone else, like Wicket would be like, oh, what, and then she'd be like, yes, I told you to do your chores.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Like, what? Like, where's where's the, they're like having the same conversation, but with different, I don't know, it's just bizarre.
And she's also not, like, sped up. Like, they're not pitching her differently, so
they aren't.
It was another thing where it just the voice, the choice there was really odd. Mine, I don't know if I have, like, a specific moment, but I felt like the slapstick for me really fell flat here, and it just kept coming.
Slapstick,
it just kept coming.
That for me too. Like, there's just so much about. I mean, this whole episode for me was just really bad.
It was a rough time for you.
It was.
Yeah.
It was the toughest 11 minutes of my life.
It was.
This was one where I was just like, I really can't wait for this episode to be over. And I was just like, I'm so glad it's 11 minutes. Because if I had to do like 30 minutes, 20-something minutes of this.
I did check the counter twice. I was like, wow, I'm only 5 minutes in. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So bad.
Yeah.
This was probably the one when the producer was, like, watching it with his kids, slowly put his phone up.
Yeah.
You're done. Like, there's no season 3.
You never work in this town
it.
again. You guys are out.
You're freaking out, man.
I hope so. Oh, I like to think so. Gosh, I like to think so.
When you're done with the season, pack your crap. You're out of here. That's like, this one would have done it for me. If I was funding this, I'd have been like, yeah, dude, not even close to what I asked for. Unless this is what they asked for. Maybe. And they gave it to them.
Maybe they're delivering. Who knows? We're just assuming. In other Ewok-related news that's good.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever watch anything on the Star Wars Kids channel? Like, do your kids like that?
We don't. No, we don't. We don't do YouTube a whole lot. Like, I'll do YouTube for stuff, but like, you know, we got rid of our TV, so all we have is like Disney Plus, and Netflix, and
we don't do it a lot either. Streaming. But there's a special, you know, like an official Star Wars Kids YouTube page. And they've got a couple of like mini 2-minute shows. And so sometimes like if my son and I are just like waiting for something, killing time or something, we'll watch one of those. They have one called Galaxy of Creatures, which features like a different creature every time. My son loves porgs, so he likes to watch the porg episodes. But there's a new one called Galactic Pals. And it essentially is a Star Wars Muppet Babies. But 2 days ago as we record, so on April 12th, 2022... they dropped an Ewoks episode. It's just it's a quick. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I did. I watched it. Yeah.
It's just a quick.
It's like a minute 20.
Yeah. A little video where like a little like kid Ewok who looks like Wicket. You know, it looks like a little baby Wicket is going
the quintessential Ewok.
Yeah. You know, essentially they're dropping him off with Nanny and the other Muppets, and all the other kids are like trying to get the little Ewok to play, and you know, it was just pretty funny. Like they got him to come out and play by doing a musical celebration. They were like, Ewoks always respond to musical celebrations.
That was very true to character.
I know.
Like, they always will warm up when it comes to celebrating.
Yeah.
Did you see when they dumped all that stuff out? Like, here's some Ewok toys. Did you see what was on the ground?
No. What?
There was a glider.
Are you kidding me?
Authentic looking glider.
Are you kidding me?
And I was like, what? I saw it a second time, and that's when I saw it, because I saw your eyes go to the drums.
Yeah.
And then the horn, but then to the right, down, you know, closer to the bottom of the screen, is a glider. And they even made it, like, not quite to scale, just so they could fit the whole glider in there. And I was like, it's the glider!
Well, that's my Ichiwawa moment, then, of Galactic Pals Ewoks.
Yeah.
So we'll share that out on our Twitter and Facebook pages, so you can catch that if you haven't already. But just a nice, cute little thing that we saw. More entertaining than today's episode. So
absolutely more entertaining.
So, you know, find that on Star Wars Kids, or we shared it on social media. In our next episode here, it's going to be a Beyond episode, because we're going to be crossing over with How's Things, a podcast from the David A. Howe Public Library, which Steve has made several appearances on over the years. But we're doing a Star Wars Day book club on Alexander Freed's novel Alphabet Squadron.
Yeah.
Are you into this? How far are you into this book?
I'm like chapter 5.
Okay. I'm not too far into it, but I am actually, I'm enjoying it quite a lot. And I realize it crosses over with the Star Wars Marvel comic called TIE Fighter, which I have read before. So I'm waiting for those connections to come through. But anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. That episode's going to drop on May 4th. So if you want to read along with us, we're going to be joined by Amanda Smith from the David A. Howe Public Library to talk Alexander Freed's Alphabet Squadron. Then, after that, Steve, we're going to be back celebrating our 1-year anniversary on This Endorian Life.
1 year.
Can you believe it?
We made it.
I know.
We made a year.
We're going to be covering episode 2B, Princess Nisa, with special guest Eric Mickles. Eric is the one who came up with the Radio Meanwhile Network, and he's been on every show except This Endorian Life. So finally, it's going to happen.
He only comes by once a year.
That's right. Yeah, annually. Yep, just like Santa Claus. Just like Santa Claus. It's a one-time thing. Maybe next year. We don't know.
Maybe he'll give us some good gifts something. Yeah, it'll be special.
I wouldn't turn it down. So anyway, lots of fun stuff in the works. I'm looking forward to it. Steve, I'll see you next time.
Yeah, absolutely. See you next time. See you fans. Hopefully you're listening and having a good time. That's right. As good as we are. This Endorian Life was brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Other shows on this network include Previously on X-Men, 90s Got Me Like, and 9021 Here We Go. Share your thoughts on this and upcoming episodes by following us on Facebook or Twitter at Endorian Life, and please rate, subscribe, and share this show wherever you get your podcasts.
Chihuahua! Chihuahua!